4 seconds. That is all it takes. 4 seconds from the moment a small team wins the ball deep in their own half to the ball sitting in the back of a giant's net. No long build-up, no pretty passing sequences, no complicated tactical instructions. Just a trap, a trigger, and 4 seconds of pure, controlled chaos. This is called the counterattack ambush, and it is the single most effective weapon ever used by smaller teams against the most powerful clubs in football history. Real Madrid have been destroyed by it. Barcelona have collapsed because of it. Manchester City have lost Champions League nights to it. Teams with half the budget, half the squad depth, half the technical quality, beating giants that cost 10 times more to build. How? Because the ambush tactic is not about talent. It is about timing, positioning, and the exploitation of one fatal flaw that every attacking team in the world carries with them every single match. Today, we are going to break it down completely. Every layer, every detail, every second of those 4 seconds. By the end of this video, you will never watch a counterattack the same way again. To understand the ambush tactic, you first need to understand why the biggest teams in the world are so vulnerable to it. And the answer is both simple and ironic. They are vulnerable because of their greatest strength. Let me explain. Teams like Manchester City, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, they are built to dominate, to control the ball, to push forward constantly and suffocate the opponent. When they attack, their fullbacks push all the way up the wings, their wingers move inside, their forwards press high, even their defensive midfielders step forward to join attacks. At the moment of their highest attacking pressure, almost their entire squad is in the opponent's half of the pitch. Think of it like a military army that has sent all its soldiers charging forward to attack a city. The charge is powerful, overwhelming, terrifying, but behind that charge, the home base is almost completely unguarded. In football terms, the home base is the space in behind the fullbacks, the channels between the center backs, the acres of empty ground between the goalkeeper and the last defender. This is the killing ground. And every time a big team attacks, they create it, automatically, unavoidably. Now, here is where the small team comes in. They are not trying to match the giant in possession. They are not trying to outpass them. They know they cannot win that battle. Instead, they sit deep, compact, 10, sometimes 11 players behind the ball, a defensive fortress so tight it is almost impossible to break down. They are not retreating, they are waiting. Like soldiers hiding in the trees at the edge of a road, perfectly still, completely invisible, while the enemy convoy rolls past. They are waiting for the trigger, because the moment the big team loses the ball, the ambush begins. The counterattack ambush has 4 phases. Each one has to be executed perfectly. Miss one, and the attack dies. Execute all 4, and the giant is dead. Phase 1, the bait. The small team sits deep in their defensive shape, usually a 4-4-2 or 4-5-1, 2 banks of 4 or 5 players, very compact, very narrow. The message they're sending to the big team is, "Come at us, we dare you." And the big team does, because they are built to attack, because their manager demands it, because their supporters demand it. The giant pushes forward, more and more players joining the attack, the fullbacks bombing up the wings, the wingers moving inside. The killing ground grows bigger with every minute. This is exactly what the small team wants. They are not defending desperately. They are manufacturing the conditions for the ambush. Phase 2, the trigger. This is the most important moment. The big team plays a pass that is slightly too slow, or slightly too heavy, or their striker miscontrols, or their midfielder's touch is poor. The small team's player intercepts, or wins a tackle, or their goalkeeper catches a cross. It doesn't matter how the ball is won. What matters is what happens next, and it has to happen in less than 1 second. Phase 3, the launch. The moment the ball is won, the forward players are already moving. Not starting to move, already moving.
This is the detail that separates a true counterattack from a slow transition. The striker, the wide attackers, the second striker, they were reading the situation before the ball was won. They saw the defensive line's position. They identified the space. They began their run while their teammate was still winning the ball. Now the player in possession has one job and one job only. Find the runner. Now, with one touch if possible, maximum 2. Not 3, not 4, not a second of hesitation. One touch, launch, vertical, into the space behind the defensive line. Think of this like a sniper's trigger pull. The decision has already been made before the moment arrives. When the moment comes, the action is instant, because that defensive line, which was so high, so compressed, is now completely exposed, caught between the attacking position they were holding and the desperate sprint to get back. They cannot make up the ground. The ball is already behind them. Phase 4, the strike. Now it's a foot race. The forward has the ball in the open killing ground. Defenders are sprinting back. The goalkeeper is coming out. The best counter-attacking forwards in the world win this situation almost every time. Not because they are the fastest, but because they are completely calm. They have trained this scenario thousands of times. 1-on-1, 2-on-1, ball in behind, goalkeeper advancing. They know exactly what they are going to do before the defender reaches them. And then the net ripples. 4 seconds. Done.
This is not theory. This tactic has been used deliberately and devastatingly to bring down the biggest clubs in football history. Case Study 1. Leicester City, 2015-16. This is the story the world could not believe. Leicester City, a team that tossed a fraction of the Premier League's giants, won the English title. How? The counter-attack ambush, executed to perfection every single week. Manager Claudio Ranieri built a 4-4-2 low block that invited pressure. N'Golo Kanté, one of the greatest ball winners in football history, patrolled the defensive midfield like a one-man minefield, intercepting passes, winning tackles, and triggering the launch phase at extraordinary speed. The moment Kanté won the ball, Jamie Vardy was already running. Not jogging, running, full speed, into the channel behind the opposition's left center-back. The vertical pass was instant, one touch from Kanté, or whoever received it first. Ball played in behind. Vardy was the fastest striker in the Premier League, and in the killing ground, with his starting position already established, he was almost impossible to catch. Arsenal were beaten this way. Manchester City were beaten this way. Chelsea were beaten this way. The Giants never found an answer, because the answer required them to attack less, to hold their defensive shape more, and that went against everything they were built to do. Case Study 2. Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona, Champions League. Diego Simeone is the most disciplined military manager in modern football. His Atletico Madrid teams are built almost entirely around one idea: absorb, suffocate, and then ambush. Against Barcelona, the best passing team in the world, Simeone packed his defensive shape so tightly that even Messi struggled to find space. Then, the moment Barcelona's fullback was caught in an advanced position, Atletico's wide forward was already pointing his run into the space left behind. One switch of play, one diagonal pass, one forward in behind. Barcelona's entire defensive structure, already compromised by their attacking commitment, could not recover in time. Simeone's players knew exactly where to run before the ball was won. The routes were rehearsed. The timing was trained. This is what separates a true ambush from a lucky counterattack. The lucky counter happens by accident. The ambush is premeditated. Let's watch it happen. Real time, 4 seconds. Watch the clock. 0. The ball is one deep, one tackle, clean. The forward is already moving. Watch his first step. It happens before the tackle is even complete. 1 second. The pass is played, vertical, hard, no hesitation. 2 defenders sprinting back. They are already 3 meters behind the runner.
2 seconds. The forward receives, 1 touch to control, diagonal run now, cutting across the last center back, forcing a decision. Does he foul? Does he hold his line? Does he dive in? Any choice he makes is wrong. 3 seconds. Goalkeeper comes out, forward shapes to shoot. 1 defender still sprinting, 10 meters away, too far. 4 seconds. Net. Goal. Done. The entire stadium erupts. The Giants' manager grabs his assistant's arm. The Giants' fans go silent. 1 tackle, 1 pass, 4 seconds. Empire shaken. Every season, without fail, the ambush destroys a Giant. Every season, the Giants' manager gives a press conference afterwards and says the same things. We were not focused enough. We gave them too much space. We need to be more careful in transition. And then, the next match, they do exactly the same thing. Because here is the brutal truth about the ambush tactic and why the Giant can never fully escape it. The Giants' entire identity is built on attacking. Their fans pay to see them attack. Their sponsors invest because they attack. Their players are signed at enormous cost because they can attack. To truly neutralize the counterattack ambush, a big team would need to attack with less commitment, hold their fullbacks back, reduce the number of players in the final third, accept less dominance, and that goes against everything they are. The attacking style that makes them a Giant is also the thing that leaves them permanently exposed. This is the deepest tactical irony in football. Strength creates weakness. Dominance creates vulnerability. And for a well-organized, well-drilled, patient, smaller team, that vulnerability is the only door they need. Because they don't need to outplay the Giant for 90 minutes. They just need 4 seconds. Here is your question for today. Which club or team do you think executes the counterattack ambush better than anyone in world football right now? Is it Atletico Madrid? Liverpool? A team in the Champions League? Someone in the lower leagues who nobody talks about? Drop your answer in the comments. Tell me the team and tell me why. And if this kind of deep tactical breakdown is exactly what you came here for, subscribe right now. Every week we pull apart the hidden mechanics of football that most people never see. Because the game is not just played on the pitch, it is played in the spaces between the players. And now you know where to look.